Alright, quick update on Solana. In the last few videos, I've outlined the two scenarios that I see playing out. Number one was we just roll down here and, hopefully create a triple bottom before we do explode. I'll explain to you why I think the significance of the triple bottom is so significant in just a moment. And, scenario two, we outline something like this where we roll over, backtest this trend line, get rejected off 112, which by the way is the macro 618. I'll show you that as well in a second, and then come down and triple bottom before we do have a big pump. So first of all, I'll tell you what the 618 is. So if we do zoom out all the way here, you can see basically from where Solana started this beautiful bull run, we have our 618 all the way up here. So while we are below 112, I would just be slightly cautious about, the trend still being to the downside. We still do have the 786 down here at 72. So if we do come down to here, this would also be the triple bottom. So why do I think this triple bottom would be very significant and bring us to the upside if we did triple bottom? So previously, we don't have a plethora of data for Solana, but previously when Solana did break up, make an all-time high, and then have a very sharp drop, how did we bottom? So we dropped 66%, we put one bottom in, came up, broke down, two bottoms in, came up, broke down, three bottoms in, and then we exploded. If we come to where we are now, you can see, let's see how far we've dropped so far. So we made an all-time high, we dropped 69%, so literally basically the same as what we've got here. What was this, 68, 69? Probably 69 if I find it to the wick down there. So we've basically mirrored exactly what we've done up down here, but it's just dragged out a little bit longer. The first time we made a triple bottom, do bear in mind we were above the 200-day moving average, so that is one slight difference between what we've got going on right now. But in my opinion, if we do triple bottom here, it would very much be very, very bullish for Solana. So I am a big Solana bull. In my opinion, I think this will do great in the long term. But just giving you my unbiased perspective, obviously I do hold this coin. I do still think it looks kind of bearish in the short term. So we are in this massive downtrend. There's no way that you can say this is bullish right now. In the macro term, if I draw this fib from low to high, we are below the 618 and we're backtesting the 786 right now. So like I said, all in all, I wouldn't really be too worried. I would be hoping that we'd come down to, at the lowest 72. This would be backtesting the 786 as well. So unless we break below 72, the market structure in the very, very macro term is still bullish. But in the mid macro term, you can see that we have been in this big downtrend, which hasn't subsided. There's not necessarily anything to get out of bed for right now. If we do come over to the weekly, switch to the Heikin-Ashis, you can see we have been in this wham downtrend. Absolutely nothing's changed. We're not even remotely green, so I would, really need to see something like this before I do get bullish on Solana. I'd like to see a break above the 618, which is at 112. Once we do break above 112, I will be very, very bullish on Solana. But, I am starting to buy very, very small amounts of Solana again. I already do hold a decent bag of Solana, so do take that into consideration. Obviously none of my videos are financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm personally doing in the market, and I am currently dollar cost averaging very, very small amounts. If you've been watching my content, I've been saying I've been sitting on the sidelines for all of the altcoins, and I've just been dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. But I am accumulating a very, very small amount of Solana recently. Nothing crazy, not even like a percent of my portfolio, but I am just nibbling as we do come down. If we do have a strong bounce from 73, I would buy a big bag of Solana. And once we do break above 112, I wouldn't be buying Solana on spot, as like I said, I already do have a decent bag of Solana, and it is getting quite degenerative how much of my portfolio takes up Solana. But that is just me. None of this is financial advice. It is just what I'm personally doing, so take that with a grain of salt. If once we do break 112, I would be very, very happy to long. So I would be longing on Femex or wherever else you want along, if we do backtest the 112 and start going off to the races, I think, you know, the next stop would be this 200-day moving average, which if we drag this along, drag it down a bit as it's come down since we made this, you know, this would be a 36, almost 37% increase on a 10x leverage. You know, that would be 3.6x return on that trade. There's basically no resistance once we break above the 618. If I clear up all the noise of these fibs and these trend lines, you'd basically see that there is nothing else to run into until we do get above the 0.5, which is all the way up here at 141. And then after that, you can see that we do have this nice little 200-day moving average. So personally, I wouldn't take into consideration too much the micro fib, or not the micro fib, but you know, this somewhat micro fib from the high to the low. I mean, this is very much macro, but I'm mainly keeping an eye on this big macro fib. Obviously, it doesn't matter where these are drawn out to. If I did have this drawn correctly, I'd have it drawn all the way over to here, so we'd be able to see whereabouts we are in the market. But I do just have my fibs, you know, nice and clean and to the sides like this, as I have, you know, so many lines, so much data, moving averages, you know, micro fibs, etc. So I do just keep this one on the side and keep this one here, just to make things a little bit more cleaner. So still got my eyes on 112 as the breakout level. Until we do break 112, I'm not getting you know, micro bullish on Solana. In the long term, I am very much a Solana bull, but you know, at least in the midterm, we are still in a downtrend, so nothing's changed. I would like to hold 72. I think if we do lose 72, we would be coming all the way down to 55, and then if we lost that, you know, we'd have a very harsh drop on our hands. So this level down here would also nicely line up with this high, so you know, this would really be the level that I want to hold. But in my opinion, it is going to get extremely ugly if we do drop below 72, and you know, personally, I would be quite worried if we did that. But you know, if all the markets just start tanking, it is what it is, and we'll have to see what happens when we get there. So keep an eye on 70, 72 as a potential triple bottom. If we do bottom down there and have a pump, I think that we would be rallying very strongly. But like I said, I'm not getting out of bed till we do break 112. So once again, none of this is financial advice. This is just my opinion on the market, and you've always got to do what's best for you. Peace.